Hello folks, Commander Shujin Tribble here. I was basically tasking myself with the ability to set up a tutorial on how the new mining system works for a friend of mine, and I figured I might as well just go ahead and do it the right way, by stream it first and then cut it down a little bit later. Let me go ahead and introduce you to the crew tonight. Crewman Vasco.
I'm here.
Introduce yourself to the stream. Introduce yourself.
My name is Vasco. I am capable of assisting you with many of the spacecraft systems.
Crewman Eli.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Eli, and for the most part I will be speaking to you in a calm and measured tone.
Yeah, we're going to believe that. Crewman Orion.
Awaiting orders, albeit it feels a little strange.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Orion, but you can call me Master. I really don't mind.
Crewman Karina.
I'm here.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Karina, the most pleasant cockpit voice assistant there will ever be. And Commander, it isn't arguable because it's a fact.
Just
Moving on with the rest of this, let me see here. Oh yes, I have been integrated into all of the ship's systems. I'll be monitoring everything for you. How very typical. Anyway, I'll be here for you. Just don't shout at me.
just what I needed. So let me go ahead and introduce you now to the ship at large. In this particular case, I will be using the Anaconda. Yes, I could be using pretty much any vehicle. I have, fortunately, been able to, after a lot of time with the game, been able to finally afford an Anaconda. You'll notice that it's an Anaconda. What more is there to really say about it? I've been doing some work on trying to put it together. It's not completely done, not by a long shot, because I need to remind myself every once in a while that, you don't fly without rebuy, and I don't screw around with that. Let's go ahead and show you what I'm dealing with at the moment. First off, you need to remember that there are certain pieces of equipment that you're going to require in order to go mining. Some of them are easier to find than others when you go into the shop. So, for the utility mounts, the first thing that you're going to be requiring to use is the Pulse Wave Analyzer. That's going to be the piece that's going to show you the rocks that you can blow up and the ones that you can't, which are, of course, much more prevalent. But that's a whole other thing. I have a whole bunch of... Let me show you at the moment. I have a whole bunch of shield boosters because I've got plenty enough power in order to run them. Plus, I will show you why that's kind of important to me in just a moment. Considering, like I said, I've got plenty of leftover power at the moment. I'm okay there. For the hard points, however, this is where it gets to be a little bit more interesting. We're going to start off with the smallest ones, the abrasion blasters. On this particular guy, I have two of them in the number 1 slot. Now, you can use one. That's perfectly fine. For my number 2 slots, I have 2 mining lasers. I was using this on my Anaconda, and I just figured I got 2 size 2s. I might as well just put them on there. That works out good. Moving up to the next size from the mining lasers, the subsurface displacement missiles. Yes, I've got this one up on the top side. It doesn't really much matter where you put them, so long as you remember where they are. The next one is the Seismic Charge Launcher. This one is also up on the top side, as you can tell, and I will be demonstrating that a little bit later also. And just because I decided to have a little bit of, safety net for myself, I have a couple of recently engineered multi-cannons underneath the bottom, because why the hell not? I'm not anticipating having any run-ins with anybody, but they're there just in case. For my internals, I've been doing a lot of work, and as you can see, some stuff is underpowered, but modified. So I'm doing pretty good at this point. Nothing really interesting specifically over here. And here's the bread and butter of it all, your optional internals. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up because it's a little bit easier that way. Planetary Approach Suite, you don't have too much of a choice in that matter. The Detailed Surface Scanner is going to be one of the pieces to really help you identify where the hotspots are in the planetary rings that you're going to be looking through. Prospector Limpets, because once you get over to a rock, you need to know what's inside of it in order to figure out, what you want to drill and what you don't. I'm running with a very underpowered shield generator. Again, slightly engineered because, well, why the hell not? You only need enough to really make sure that you don't hurt yourself if you accidentally run into a rock because, well, you're going to run into a rock. I work with a 4B refinery. It has, over here, 9 bins in it, which is more than enough for what I end up doing. I end up having a whole bunch of stuff set to be ignored, so 9 bins is more than enough for what I need. From here, I have 2 collector limpet controllers because I just put out a whole bunch of collectors and just let them just pull everything in. From there, I'm just stacked up with cargo racks because I can. Admittedly, every ship has a certain number of places where you can put things. Python has got less. I do have a Python. I could have done that, but I decided that I wanted to show off the Anaconda because some people say that it's harder to work with a larger ship, and I figured, why the hell not? I'll show you how it actually works. First item up, after you've decided what you want to put together for yourself as far as to what ship and what stuff you want together, you need to remind yourself to get limpets. You can't just get them in the normal spot for outfitting or anything like that. You have to go into, why, I don't know, advanced maintenance. Don't forget to restock your limpets. And the way things are going these days, you don't need a hell of a lot. I'm just going to put 100 just because. It's just a good round number. They're pretty inexpensive. The way things have been going for mining these days, do not completely load up on limpets. The days of being able to just take all the limpets you want and just burn through them are gone. You'll see. So from here, you also need to go through the fun part of setting up your fire groups. This is arguably the most tedious and annoying part of it all. You will be setting up a lot of fire groups. The way I usually do it is set up the first item to be your scanners. For instance, the Detailed Surface Scanner and in this particular case, the Detailed Surface Scanner is actually the first one to work off of. You won't need anything past that, because that is while you're in Super Cruise and you're looking to find out where you're going to drop in to go mining. After that, you'll need the Pulse Wave. I set that as number 2 on the trigger because I can actually tell the voice command system to fire it off whenever I want to. And from there, you will also need your prospectors to check out the rocks as you're going along. Once you've got your prospectors set, you're going to want to find whatever rock you're going to be shooting. From there, you'll be using the mining lasers. Set those on your first trigger and your collectors in number 2. From here, you'll start using the new mining pieces, which means the Abrasion Blaster, might as well just set the collectors also to fire off with that. The subsurface missiles and the seismic charge launcher on separate pieces. Finally, if you've got a little bit of, how should we best put this? Self-preservation, might as well just put those last. Before you leave, make sure that you've got everything has at least one fire group to it. So, abrasion blasters, seismic charge, subsurface missiles, collectors twice over, the prospector, pulse wave. The data link scanner is not going to be needed because we're not going anywhere where there's anything to scan. Composition scanner, also same situation. The discovery scanner, well, we're already in a system, so we don't need to go tooling around for that. Mining lasers, detailed surface scanner, and that covers everything. In the system where I am over in Injiken, specifically at Smeaton Port. It's a nice place, high-tech place. I have access to a lot of pieces, and they typically will sell all the stuff for anything that I pull in. Luna, I just see over there. Do you also set up your own character? Yes, there is an option for that. And that is the Hollow Me. My gentleman is actually based slightly on my uncle. For reasons that are because I wanted to. Anyway, let's go ahead and show you where we're going here in the Injiken system. There is a planet with rings, and that is Injiken 4. It's going to take a little bit of time to get out there because, as you can see, it's 2,300 light seconds out, but it's a relatively short trip. Let's go ahead and take this puppy out, and I'll show you what you do. And before anybody gives me shit about my driving out of the slot, shut up. Landing gear up.
Detach confirmed. You are clear to leave.
And let's see if I can get out of here without scraping the paint this time. The flight stick I have is a little dodgy at times. Yes, I'm going to blame it on the stick. Ah, shut up.
This is a flight regulations warning. Vacate this area at once, Commander.
I am. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let's just get our asses out of here. Afterburners. Afterburners. And we're ready for this.
You have cleared the no-fire zone. Flight control out.
Engage Super Cruise. And off we go. So now, sit back, relax, enjoy this part. Switch HUD mode. In order to use the surface scanner, you have to be in analysis mode. And for those of you that don't know what the switch is or the button click for it, I can't help you because I have a whole bunch of stuff set on voice attack, and there's not much I can do about that. The voice commands are part of the HCS voice attack system, which is a third-party product, and that's what gives me the great folks in the background. As a matter of fact, let's see this. Crew command roster. Number 1. That is all. Must not know what's going on around me over here a second. Let's see. Number 1. Well, this is just becoming annoying. Crew command roster. Crewman Eli,
Yes, sir.
you're number 1.
Yes, Your Eminence.
That is all?
Acknowledged.
All right, so let's see if this works
Crew
correctly.
has been assigned to stations.
Number 1,
Captain.
organize a crew.
Aye, aye, sir. Recalling crew. Orion.
Yes, sir.
Operations.
No problem.
Karina,
Yes, sir.
you're on helm control.
Acknowledged.
Tactical. Yes, Your Eminence. Orion,
Yes, sir.
take engineering.
No problem.
Vasco,
Yes, sir.
science.
That's affirmative.
Confirmed. Crew has been assigned to stations.
It's about damn time. Okay. So if you notice down at the bottom right hand of the window, surface scanner shows currently out of range. We're getting closer and closer to Injican 4, and you'll see that there are some yellow spots that are showing up in the ring around it. Those are mining hotspots, and I will be showing you some of that in just a couple of moments. But we're waiting for out of range at the bottom to change to be too fast. There we go. It now shows too fast. Okay. So now that we're here at a planet with a ring system, normally you would not see these yellow spots. These are the mining hotspots, and this is how you try to find out where those are. When you're in analysis mode, you go ahead and click on the surface scanner, and this targeting system is how you shoot a probe into the rings to find out what's where. So I'm going to give this a shot and see how well this works. So there's that probe. Oh, it's not going to redo it. Oh well, sorry about that. Anyway, normally these probes are supposed to be for a planet, but as you move further away from it, as you see, it'll show you that at this point I would be hitting one of the rings. And then the secondary ring. And it lights up what's hot, so to speak, in the ring that you can go to for mining. And each of them will let you know what is specifically hot over here. This one is saying that muscovite, alexandrite, serendibite? Sure, serendibite, whatever. Now, the rings are a little bit different for each planet. You'll typically have an inner ring and an outer ring, sometimes maybe even a third. Sometimes you'll only have one, and they will have different colors to them. In this case, the inner ring is metal. The outer ring is, well, basically rock. I normally go into the metal ring. In this case, I can go over there. There's a resource extraction site over there, which is one spot where you could actually get higher payouts of what you mine. But you end up running into the small problem of other players are there, whether they're NPCs or just other actual players. So you run into the small problem of pirates every once in a while. In this case, I'm going to see if I can get down over there a little past the resource extraction site. And get down into the ring. That's what we're looking for. No, it's a resource extraction site now, is it? All right, fine. Well, in any case, where is... Come on. There we go. Platinum hotspot. Now, when you're diving into a ring, try to remember, keep your speed under 1 megameter as you're going in. That will help cut down on any stresses on the hull, so you don't end up needing to do a repair job when you get home. So you don't have to drop out of warp on your own. You can just let it do it all on its own as you get in there. And you'll see I'm down to 100 kilometers per second, and we will drop out. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring us to a stop and bring up the navigation window, because one piece you want to try to remember is keep your host planet locked. This way, once you're in here, on the left side of the main radar, the planet is right there in the center for yourself now. And if you keep aiming towards that planet, you'll be in much better shape. You won't end up accidentally backtracking and, well, mining something that you've already gone through. So let's go ahead and put the weapons out there, and I'll give you a show of what we're dealing with. Another cool trick, night vision.
Affirmative.
I love this. When it gets dark, and every once in a while it does because the planet keeps rotating and you along with it, things will get, well, rather dark. Not necessarily quickly, but annoyingly so. Might as well just set yourself up for that. Now, since I have the pulse wave on trigger number 2, I'm just going to go ahead and trigger that myself, and let's see what lights up for us. There we go. Right away, we've got one rock that's lighting up right in front of us. So we're going to head on over to that one first and see what we get. Yep, there it is. Now, the reason why I said keep the pulse wave and the prospector in the same fire group is that from here, once you've found something that lights up with the pulse wave, and yes, I'm hitting it myself, you can then use the other trigger to fire a prospector and find out what that rock has got to it, which I'll do right now. Once your limpet is out, target it and see what you get. Cargo scoop.
Deploying.
Might as well just have that open for the time being. Okay, now, as you can see, on the bottom left, the limpet is reading back. The limpet is reading back what the rock has to it. In this case, praseodymium, silver, samarium, and that's stuff that I would be able to use with the mining lasers to pull out. But since they are, well, cheap, I don't even bother. And that's why you would switch to that grouping. You'd be able to fire off your collectors and use the mining laser, which looks a little something like this. Once you're inside of 500 meters, just blow chunks off of the asteroid. And you'll see that there are a whole bunch of little pellets that have come off of it. The collectors would actually go and pick those up if I wanted them. But again, they are very low quality in what I can get paid for them, so I'm not going to even bother. On the asteroid itself, we have a couple of these little items. A subsurface deposit. Another subsurface deposit. And a third. Generally speaking, these things are not a lot of fun because they don't have very much of anything worthwhile to them. But I'll give you a look-see as to how this operates. This is where the missiles are going to come in handy. What you'll need to do is to move around so that you can see one of these subsurface deposits. And move around so that you've got a good view of it. The missiles are literally going to bore into that place and give you basically the equivalent of a mini game. And you'll have to simply release the trigger when the indicator hits up with one of the blue sections. A smaller bar will do less damage to the subsurface items. A larger will do more. Let me explain. First, line up and then fire and hold your trigger. Go right in this there, bottom left. So there's a big blue line, another big blue line. I'm looking for a small one. Boom. And there we go. One chunk is removed, and the health there we go. The health on the bottom, you'll see, now shows as 50% for that subsurface deposit. If you hit a much larger blue band, it will do much more damage. Once you have exhausted all 100%, which could be 2, could be 3, could be 4 chunks, depending as to how lucky you get, because RNGesus. But let's go ahead and take that one completely out. Dig it in, dig it in, dig it in, and boom. Extracts one more piece, and the health on that deposit is gone. Be able to do that with all the others. But again, all of these particular items are pretty useless, so why bother? You're much more here for the big boom. So let's go find us a new big boom. There are some more. Hey, looky, looky. Let's see what we've got here. And remember, limpets have a top speed of about 200 meters per second. So long as you've got your cargo scoop out, you will not run into them accidentally. What have you got? Again, it's got crap to it, really. Bertrandite, silver, gallite, yeah. But does it have subsurface, subsurface, subsurface? Nothing that we can use to go explodey with. Let's look around again. Oh, wait a minute, though. We have... we have something that we can work with. A surface deposit. This is where the abrasion blasters come in. And this is where it gets a little tricky for some folks, and understandably so. A subsurface deposit, as it sounds like, is something that's actually just underneath the crust. But these surface deposits are literally just clumps that are up on top. In order to use the abrasion blaster, you have to kind of line up on this one a little bit more delicately. You'll see that my targeting system is kind of tracking it a little bit. It's not always easy to do, but you do have to kind of lead just a little bit. So here we go, firing. As soon as it locks in there, come on, locked. Damn it. Got it. And there it is. So a hunk of gallite is, well, actually I got two. Okay, fine. Got a couple of pieces of gallite. Again, the collectors would just bring them in, and we'd be all happy, ready to go with the next one. Again, the surface deposits are a little tricky to get. It takes some experience, a little bit of practice, and a lot of just yelling and screaming at the screen. Ah, nice and yellow. Let's see if we can find something worthwhile. With any luck, let's see what the prospector has to say. Please be worthwhile. Bingo! This is what we're looking for. All right. So let me go ahead and show you the real deal. This rock has got everything that we want, and we're going to exploit this entirely. Bottom left-hand corner, Bertranite, Samarium, and silver. Crap. We could drill it out, but we're not gonna. We could take a look at these surface deposits and the subsurface, and let's see, Samarium, Ick. That's a fissure. I'm going to deal with that in a minute. Subsurface, Samarium, bleh. Fissure, fissure, more fissures. Subsurface deposit of Samarium. Nothing worthwhile otherwise? Okay. So here's where the fissures are going to get done. Now, before I showed you the abrasion blasters, get the top level stuff, we're now going to use the seismic charges. And for this, again, you need to do a little bit of careful work. The charges actually literally have to be charged up. If you'll see in the center section, if my stick would just behave itself, yeah, you'll see them drifting all over the place. That's a problem that I've got with my stick at the moment. Shut up. You'll see in the center, for the reticle, you have 3 bars on the outsides. That's going to indicate for you how much charge, low, medium, and high, that you'll be putting into the seismic charges. And each of the fissures, for instance this one right in the center, will show you on the bottom left-hand corner how strong it is. Low strength, you'll want a low charge. Medium, medium, and high, high. Simple enough that. But you've only got a certain amount of time that you can place them all. So you'll see that we've got some other fissures that are going to be coming around as well. For instance, this one, which is average strength, so that's going to be a medium. That one on the other side, which is also average. Another one, average. Low strength. average, average, low. Okay,
Change camera.
it's not what we're doing. So in order to hit these, we have to make sure that the icon is blue. That means that it's facing towards us, as opposed to the grays, which are facing away from us. This is why some people say that working with a large ship is not the way to go, because you have to dance around these things. I'm about to show you, they don't know what they're talking about. So let me go ahead and place these really quickly and show you how this works. You'll be watching for the top right-hand corner that's going to give you the readout of what's going to go boom in just a second. Here we go. So I now have 1 minute, I now have 110 seconds to place all these pieces. This one is low strength, so a nice simple tap. Boom, right where it's supposed to be. At the top right, you will see that at the moment, the output for these explosives is still in the yellow range. I need to get it to the mid-range. This one is low strength, so another little tap. Not bad. We've got this one over here coming now. This one is average, so let's hit this one a little harder. There we go. So now I just need one average. Okay, so if I hit this one with an average, perfect. You'll see up in the top, it says optimum yield range. So the amount of explosives is just right for opening up this asteroid without doing a lot of damage to everything else. So now that we've got this set, let's move a little bit away from this guy. 500 meters is, generally speaking, relatively safe. Power to shields.
Max systems.
And let's go ahead and fire these off. Enjoy the fireworks. So you'll see at the bottom, we have a whole bunch of little white dots. Those are little pieces that have now come loose from the asteroid. So let's go ahead and fire off all the collectors and have them pull them in. Now the problem is that limpets tend to be dumb. So they will run into rocks inadvertently, whether you like it or not. So just be a little bit on the careful side. While they're doing their thing, let's go ahead and use the abrasion blaster on a couple of these top pieces. There's platinum. Another one that's platinum. Another one that's platinum. It went behind. All right, we'll get that in a second. Some folks get a little bit impatient doing this. I enjoy this. For me, this is like fishing. Plus, when all is said and done, really, it's almost pure profit. Yeah, see? That's probably one of them ran into a piece of the asteroid. Just what I needed. Alright, we'll fix that in a moment. Let's come underneath here. Yeah, whatever. Are you on this side or the row? This? It's probably on the other side. All right. Is it? You know what? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Let's find out. Oh! It was right there. Okay. And you see as we come around, these are turning blue, which means we're in the right spot to hit them. Got that one. Got that one. Let's come up and away. Come on. That's... Sometimes they don't, There it goes. Yelling and screaming at me. Yeah, because, see, sometimes you're going to hit a rock. And let's get this guy. There we go. Shut up. Yeah, whatever. Line it up. No. Let's get a little bit of room. Uh, 400 meters. There we go. Now all my collectors are burnt out. Okay, there's still a couple of items still left on the scope. Yeah, there's one piece. And while my limpets are picking those up, we'll just check the contacts and see what else is still out there. All right, so we still have one surface deposit to hit. And where is it? There it is. You'll see it on the center scope over there. And now that it's selected, there it is. Since this rock is turning around, We'll just wait for it to show up. Lock the blasters, and got it. So at this point, now that we've gotten the one, this mean. There we go. We've gotten all of our pieces. Cargo scoop.
Retracted.
And let's go ahead and see about cashing this right in. Afterburners.
Afterburners. Maxing engines.
Night vision.
Okay, Captain.
Don't need those off. And afterburners.
Afterburners.
There we go. Engage Super Cruise.
Engaging Super Cruise.
Switch HUD mode.
Affirmative.
Now that we're on our way to cash in, this is the problem. Whether or not we're going to end up getting pulled over by a pirate. I've already gone ahead and set up for my weapons, just in case. And this will just take a couple of moments to get back to port. While you're making your way back to port, it's not a bad idea to kind of keep track of what's on the scope in the center. Make sure you don't have any pirates sneaking up behind you. At this point right now, the system is clean. I'm actually a little surprised. There we go. A couple of ships nearby. Nothing wrong with scanning them. Might get a piece of data worthwhile. And you'll see at the top I picked up classified data scans, various other pieces. A vulture. Great. Wanted, no less. Well, we're not going after anybody today. A lot of wanted folks. Warp factor 7.
Engaged. Warp 7.
It's the equivalent of hitting the 75% power mark. And I normally try to give it that command as I hit 10 seconds before exit. This way I don't overrun my drop point. The last few seconds are really tense, because every once in a while somebody wants a piece of you. Apparently not today. Disengage.
Exiting now.
All right. So when you come into a station,
Delisi Echo Sierra 5. We've prepared a landing pad for your arrival, Commander. Welcome to our station.
probably a really good idea to get away from any fire group that has a weapon to it. Just in case. Request docking.
As requested.
Request approved. Adjust heading for approach to pad 39er.
Oh, they're giving me a nice pad for a change, I think.
You are most welcome.
And there is the mail slot.
I'd like to suggest I lower the landing gear now.
In a moment.
Waiting.
Power to shields.
Power to shields.
The landing gear is down and locked.
Could have taken a little bit longer on that, but okay. So let's see how good my piloting is in tonight. All right. Damn it. All right, whatever. Down to pad 39. So,
Contact clear to disembark. Welcome to our starport, Commander.
Starport services.
let's go ahead and restock a little bit. 550. Let's get rid of the extra limpets. I didn't think I was going to need them, but okay, whatever. Yes, you sell them for what you bought them for, so it doesn't matter. So now comes the fun part. Let's find out how much that little bit earned us. Commodities market, and we only picked up one type of cargo. In this case, 20 units worth. There it is, 20. Platinum, 54K. So for this little run, a mil. Over a mil. That's all it takes. Now, admittedly, we didn't exactly go really hardcore on this. But you can. For instance, Alexandrite, which we saw listed in the ring, 400K per. Benetoite, which I've seen, also over 675, 686. Grandidorite, sure, 554,000 per. Let's see, what else is currently being sold over here? Low temperature diamonds, which I don't have over here, almost 600. Monazite, over 300 per. Muscovite, 455. And this is my bread and butter right here. Painite. In a metal ring, specifically the metal rings here, I will go looking for painite, platinum, and palladium as the big ticket items. Now, obviously, right now, painite is at almost 400 grand per, and that's not something that you have to go looking for a blow-up asteroid for either. They just show up, and you just mine them out of the rock with the lasers, like I was showing earlier. Where were the rest of them? Let's see, painite. Palladium. Right now is at 14K. Very low, but they used to be a pretty good price. Platinum, 54. A much better price than what I'm used to. But painite? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's absolutely worthwhile. Now, I don't go ham going specifically looking for the rocks that can get blowed up. I am much more a fire off a prospector. What do you got in there? Anything good? No? Move on. Like I said, for me, it's like fishing. So when the big rush ends, I'm not going to have any real problem with it because I can just keep going out there and getting painite, and platinum, and palladium, and pull that in. And if I find a rock that's got stuff on the inside, I'll pull that in too. But for the most part, that's it. That's all that's really necessary for it. And you don't need to do a huge ship like I was. You could use, well, pretty damn much anything.
Change camera.
Whatever. And that's all it is. Now, I know this has been an hour on the stream, and I'm going to see about whittling this down a little bit later. But in the meantime, I hope that you found it worthwhile. I hope that you enjoyed. With any luck, maybe I'll see you guys out there. And if you want to go ahead and send me a message and say hi, love that. But in the meantime,
Already done.
you all have yourselves a safe time out there in the black. Be careful, huh? I look forward to hearing from you guys. But in the meantime, may Luna watch over you. I'll catch you out there sometime.